Good morning, everyone, once again. And I trust that everybody is as happy as DGE Leslie. Please join me in wishing him a very happy birthday today. Today is DGE Leslie's birthday. Welcome to day 2 of PETS 2022. A special welcome to our PDGs on the call this morning. Thank you. I know that you would have had other choices, and I'm glad you made the choice to be with us this morning, even though you may not be with us for the entire morning. Our DG is on the call. She's sitting in an airport, but she's with us. So DG, could we hear from you, please?
Good morning, everybody. As you can hear, I'm in an airport. Thank you so much for joining and being a part of PETS. It is truly a fantastic experience for you, life-changing as you become presidents and secretaries of your clubs, and certainly leaders in our district. My travels have been phenomenal. We have excellent leaders. Rotary now is in good hands, has been for a long time, and it will continue to be. The clubs are motivated, the projects are fabulous. These learning grounds are absolutely the place for you to be as you make your journey. DGE, his team, led by Liz, the trainer, have a fabulous program arranged for you. And it is an opportunity for you to share and learn from each other. I use this opportunity to encourage you to support the Rotary Foundation in your plans. That is the important part that makes us who we are in our district. And we really make an impact that way. So I encourage you to stay plugged in, stay the course, go to the Learning Center and imagine Rotary in a way that you have never, ever thought about it. So as we serve to change lives and we roll out the end of this year, we roll into the next. I look forward to where the district will go with DGE Leslie and his team, and DGN Brian and DGND Debbie. Thanks so much for your time. I'm about to board a plane, so I'll check in when I get to my next destination. I think you'll still be on. Take care and thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you, DG Sonia, and safe travels as you move from one island to the next. Okay, so please just also know that DGE Leslie is very excited about his upcoming role, and he certainly wishes to transfer some of that excitement and inspiration to all our incoming leaders. So to not just do projects, but certainly enjoy that journey. The topic today is meeting matters, and of course, all of you know that it's important, and meetings are the heart of every organization. It is where we clarify issues, we sharpen our focus, and definitely move ambitions forward. How we manage meetings between or time between meetings is also very important. So today, PDG Elwin, who will be introduced shortly, will strive to share some actionable advice in running effective meetings. I would really like to encourage all the president-elects and secretary-elects to participate fully in the discussions today. Before I ask DGE Leslie to share his opening remarks, I would like to gently remind you, I think in the waiting room, you would have been reminded of the protocols, but I'll just remind you again, you are muted as you enter the room. Please stay muted. The session is being recorded, and the recording will be placed on our district website within 48 hours. At the appropriate time, you can raise your hand using the raise hand icon, and you will be unmuted. Because we will have a discussion. There is two sections to this, two segments to this presentation today. There will be a presentation by Elvin, and I know that he plans to be very interactive and have a very interactive session. We also have a discussion section, so I really want participation by our president-elects and secretary-elects. Please select your language, English or French, by clicking the interpretation icon at the bottom of your screen. During the presentation, please place your questions in bold in the Q&A in the chat box, because we do have a Q&A segment planned as well. I'm Liz Cox, and I'm your moderator for today. And I am ably supported by my district training team, our translators, Vicky, Natalie, and Mavis, who are all working behind the scenes to make this session a success. All right, it is time for me to invite DG Leslie, the birthday boy, to open day 2 of pets. The frame is yours, Leslie. You need to unmute, Les. Leslie, you need to unmute. Leslie. DG Leslie, you need to unmute.
Okay.
Sean, can you unmute Leslie?
Yeah, done. It's done. It's done now. Sorry, I couldn't read on my own. But thanks.
Okay.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning, all. Thanks for the wonderful birthday greetings from all. Really appreciate. Not a good sign that you're getting too old, but anyway. I want to again welcome our past district governors, or president-elects and secretaries, district training committee, and all others present. Thank you for being here this morning. We got off to a wonderful start last Thursday when we had Michelangelo Caruso presenting, and he gave us some wonderful tips as we start our year of training. He spoke about shoring up communications, getting good goals, doing outward facing programming, and of course, leadership succession. Today, we are getting into the meat of the matter when we're going to be having the past district governor, Elwin, presenting on meeting matters. And presidents, I urge you to take this very seriously. As you start planning your year, producing your strategic plan, setting your goals. You are now leading Rotarians, so you need to inspire your members under you. Make sure that you have a good working relationship with your leadership team, Making sure that your members are educated in Rotary knowledge, and you have to really motivate and recognize your members. Make your meetings comfortable enough that members always feel welcome to be there. You're going to be running your meetings. Again, you have to make them very successful and strengthen your membership, encouraging them to support the Rotary Foundation and doing projects aligned to the 7 areas of focus. So you have your work really cut out for you. And we hope that you can apply yourselves during the year and make it, and that you do have a very successful year once you implement your plans and objectives. So today is an important day when we're going to be hearing from PDG Elwin, presenting to you on meeting matters. So again, welcome all, and I do hope that we have a very successful morning listening to PDG Elwin and having further discussions as we go ahead. So thank you very much. Over to PDG Lyle to introduce PDG Elwin.
PDG Lyle, could you please introduce our guest speaker?
Thank you so much, DGE, Leslie, and moderator Liz. Fellow Rotarians, past governors, presidents-elect, secretaries-elect, it is a great honor and a privilege to be asked to introduce this outstanding Rotarian, past district governor, Elwin at Modi Mejo. And I challenge you to say that. Past district governor Elwin, from here on in, was born on March the 14th, 1962. So we have another birthday coming up in Paramaribo, Suriname. He is married to Maureen, and together they have 3 children, 2 boys, Matthew, 25, and Joshua, 24, and a daughter, Mariah, age 19. Elwin is a charter member of the Rotary Club of Paramaribo residents. When the club was chartered in 2002, he filled the position of Sergeant at Arms. In 2004-05, he was president of the club, And in 2005-06, he assisted the secretary. So he wasn't going away into the sunset as a lot of presidents think they can do. Elwin has served 3 terms as assistant governor, the last one being in 2011, 2012. But in 2010, Elwin initiated a new Rotary Club, and that takes a lot of work. In November 2010, Rotary Club Fresh, F-R-E-S-H, was chartered. And I'll digress for a minute and challenge any of you there to tell me what FRESH stands for. And I'm not going to ask you to unmute yourselves, but it stands for Friends, Relations, Education, Stimulation, and Help. So forgive me for the small or helpfulness. Forgive me for the small digression, but I thought it was important for you to understand the creativity of PDG Elwin and the Rotary Club. Elwin is right now busy chartering an Interact Club with his fellow Rotarians in the Rotary Club of Paramaribo residents. And Elwin was our governor. Some of you will remember him, I hope most of you, but I know there are a lot of new people around, in 2014-15. Together with his wife, Maureen, past District Governor Elwin has attended many RI conventions and almost every district conference in District 7013. Now, Elwin is an active Rotarian in Suriname and throughout District 7013. A quick Rotary bio. He was Rotary District 7030 Membership Development Chair in 12, 13, and 14, a club trainer, district trainer, PETS trainer, RLI facilitator. He is a Paul Harris Fellow, and he is multiple Paul Harris Fellow, and he is a Paul Harris Society member. That means he donates $1,000 US a year minimum to our foundation. In business, Elwin is a serious character, and he was the managing director of IBM Suriname. He is the CEO of Solve IT NV. He is owner of a number of companies in Suriname, including trading and mining companies. Charter member of the American Chamber of Commerce. Elwin has served in many public advisory roles over the years, particularly in the field of his expertise, which is ICT, business intelligence. He is a very active member of his church. He is the chairman of VHJI, an organization that preserves the Indonesian culture and heritage from Java, Indonesia. He's chairman of SOFNA, which is an outdoor museum. He's been active in football, and he enjoys hunting and fishing. Fellow Rotarians, I give you the dynamic past district governor, Elwin at Modi Mejo.
Thank you so much, PDG Lyle. It's very good to hear a dynamic bio data. I thought it was a bio data and not a biography, but anyway, it was extended. Thank you so much for that. Thank you all, and it's a good thing today to see you all again, well, at least online, and I'm looking forward to meeting you all at the district conference in Barbados, which is an event that I'm always enjoying, and I'm looking forward to meeting you all. But please allow me today, before we start and before we continue, to have a moment of silence. For those of you who can bear with me, please bow your heads. Other ones have other alternative, but let's take a moment of silence, please. join me. Today, I pray for the well-being of every participant in this session, for every Rotarian in District 7030, for everyone in the world. I pray for the healing of the world because of the pandemic and the COVID situation. I pray for those who has lost their lives and the loved ones who left behind because of this pandemic. I pray for peace, especially today. Imagine a world where we live peacefully together. No diseases, no hunger, no war, just peacefully. Let's all pray for peace, and may peace be upon you. Peace. Thank you. So, the session about today, and I don't know if I have the correct translation in French, but it's meeting matters. And forgive me, French people, if it's not okay, the correct translation, but the meeting matters are things, the topics that are very important for you to focus on when you conduct meetings, right? Things that you have to take care of. Those are meeting matters. And today we're going to talk about how you can conduct meetings and what kind of meetings and what things you have to take into account. Today we're going to look at 3 types of exercises. One is the meeting. We're going to have some interaction, a lot of interactions, I hope. I'm going to discuss with you or present to you some alternatives in meetings, the way we do meetings. And then I want you at the end of the meeting, come together and discuss what we have presented here. So I want to start with an icebreaker. For the translators, if I am fast or slow, just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. But I asked for an icebreaker today, and I will start with 3 volunteers. I've asked for a volunteer from the different territories, 1 from the French territory, 1 from the English one, and 1 for the, well, let's say the others, the Dutch-speaking ones, the ABC Islands, Suriname, Aruba, Bonaire, Curaçao. So I got the names here, and maybe I can, let me see, I can see your face. I call out to, from Martinique, Severin. Do I pronounce the name correct, Severin? Okay, Severin, how are you? From
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Ça va bien?
Très bien. Bonjour à tous.
Oui, okay. And then from the English territory, my good Facebook friend, Cindy Selandel Glenn, where is she?
Hello, good morning, fellow Rotarians. Good morning, I'm here.
Okay, hope I can see your face too later on. And then from the Dutch-speaking territory, I have from a very new club. I think it's the youngest club in our district, the Rotary Club of Parama. The incoming president, Antusa.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
And if you thought that my name, Atmo Di Medio, was difficult, try to pronounce Antusa's last name.
Yes, that's we have the same last name from the same culture. Mine is Carso Di Cromo.
Okay, thank you, Antus. Cindy, are you there? Bear with me, please. So,
yes, I'm here.
All of you, I want you to have a pen and paper with you or something to write down, even on your iPad or your iPhone. All of you. I see 111 people here. All of you. But especially these 3 people, 3 wonderful Rotarians, I'm going to ask you some questions. Don't mention, well, I already spoiled that for Antus, but when you answer that, just give your name and the answer. Don't mention your club name because we don't want to put your club on the spot, right? Okay. So looking at your clubs, everyone, looking at your club and your club meetings, how do you score your club and your club meeting? And give a score between 1 and 10. And guys, let's be honest, there's no score of a 10 because 10 people don't exist. We are not perfect people, right? And we are no one number clubs or number one clubs because that is worst one. You don't have any reason to exist if you're one. So be honest and give your club a score between, let's say, 3 and 8. And don't overestimate yourself, right? Just be real. Hold on. Don't say anything yet. Don't say anything yet. Don't publish that too. It's for yourself. Okay? The second question is, give me 2 reasons. Write it down. Give me 2 reasons why you have given that score to your club or club meetings. Just write it down. I will give you 10 seconds. Make it short and sweet. Don't write any poems or whatever, just 2 simple reasons. I want to have more food. I just want to have more fellowship, whatever. More sweet, short and sweet. Are we there yet? Good. So now, Cindy, I don't see you on camera. By the way, congratulations, Cindy, with your, what was that? Your master's degree, your PhD?
Yeah, Cindy's on, so she's hearing you. She's not.
Yeah, I'm on my, it's not allowing me to use my camera on myself. I'm not too sure why. Sorry about that.
Okay, great. Sandy. Let me start with you, Sandy. What is your score? Don't mention your name. Don't mention your club name.
Okay, so I would have given my club 7 for the score.
Wow. Yeah. And the 2 reasons why?
The first reason why is because I think we're not a perfect 10, as you said, there's no perfect club. We need more membership involvement in terms of attendance at our meetings. And I also would have given it 7 because whenever we're at our club meetings, we're able to make informed decisions. The members that are usually on the call are usually able to commit and have an excellent meeting. But what I would like to see happen is more attendance by Rotarians.
Good, good. Just keep that. I hope you have written it down and we'll keep that for the rest of the year, okay? Severin, your turn. What have you scored for your club? Don't mention your club. And the 2 reasons why.
Alors, pour mon club, j'ai mis un 7 aussi. Comme Cindy, il y a une petite baisse de présence, mais j'apprécie la convivialité et la continuité des actions. Voilà. On m'a entendu?
Great, great. So can you repeat your score once again? I've missed that.
7.
Okay. Great. Good. Mrs. Caso de Cromo, Antus, what is your score and the reason why?
The score that I gave my club is also a 7. And that's because of the pandemic, I think we missed a lot of fellowship and we didn't have the opportunities to come together and keep the bonding and the fellowship alive. That has been less, but I think this year will be the next step to promote that again and start all over. And the second reason is the reason is not part of our meetings, but what we miss the most is our famous and our biggest fundraiser, and that's the Man Cookout. And we were not able to organize that for 2 years now. And that's the fundraiser where everybody in our club looks out for. And we just miss that a lot. So this year will be the year we were gonna promote that again.
Thank you. So all of you who have scored a club, because these obviously are 3 wonderful clubs that are on average a 7, which by the way is a very, very good score. But if you are out there between like 3 and 5, and you have written down 2 reasons, 2 major reasons, I just want you to think of this. Bear with me. You have written down these 2 reasons. Suppose you can turn around those reasons that you have written down to implement successfully in your club. Like Antusha said, or Sandy said, we would like to have more fellowship, or we like to have more projects. Suppose you can make it happen. Suppose you can turn it around. What would be your score then? 10 seconds. I'm going to start with Séverine.
Alors, j'aurais mis un 8,5. Parce que même en agissant sur les causes, rien n'est toujours parfait. Et on peut toujours améliorer l'amitié et la convivialité entre nous. Et bien sûr, par cela, travailler nos actions et avoir plus encore de rayonnement et d'aider encore plus, servir encore plus.
Great, thank you. Antus, what would your score have been?
My score would be around an 8.5 or a 9, because these are the 2 most important parts that we miss in our club. And if we are able to achieve this in the coming year, we will be 100% happy again.
Wow. I am in an advantage because I have knowledge up front, so I cannot judge that. How about you, Sandy? What would your score be?
So my score would be 8 or 8.5. The reason being is because there's always room for improvement. So as much as I would turn these 2 decisions around in my club, I will still like to see it excel further. So if we score as a perfect 10, it's telling me that there's no room for growth and improvement. But once we're 8 or 8.5, it still shows that we have room for growth and improvement.
Great. Thank you so much. So for the rest of you, if you have, compare your score, your first score, if it was a 4 and you want to upgrade it to 6 because you want to be there at an improvement at another level, like maybe an 8. Just make sure that you will keep this piece of paper or thing that you have written down on your iPad or iPhone. Right now, I am in this stage and I want to be there and upgraded level like level 8, 8.5, like these clubs. This is what I have to do. I hope you will keep this and remind yourself during the year what you want to do, what you want to achieve. It's not only the club meetings, it's not about you, it's doing things together, right? It's not only about the project, the club meetings as well, because equally and likewise, the club meetings are very important to come together and discuss things. The last question for this exercise, this icebreaker, for all of you, write this down. Why have you become a Rotarian? Give me the reason why you have become a Rotarian. And do you find it necessary or important to meet other Rotarians or other fellows? 10 seconds. Make sure to keep this piece of paper or this note for the rest of your year, because you're an incoming officer, the incoming leader of your club. You will be at the head of the table, or you will guide coming year. And DGE Leslie will be very happy to have some vivid clubs, right, DGE Leslie? Good. Can I hear from Cindy? Why have you become a Rotarian, and what is it important for you to meet others, other fellows?
All right, so firstly, I have chosen to become first a Rotary actor, then a Rotarian, because I really wanted to create an impact in my community and more so the world. And I really want to leave the world a better place than I found it. So when I leave, I want persons to know the impact that I would have made as a Rotarian, as a Rotary actor. And I do believe that it's important for me and other Rotarians to meet other Rotary actors and Rotarians, because we are all looking at one goal or one purpose. And once we unite, we can make a bigger impact and we could leave the world a better place than we found it.
And do you find it important or necessary to meet with fellows or Rotarians?
Yes, it is important.
Why is it important to you?
It's important to me because once I connect and once I have that network, I would be able to make a better impact in my community and the world.
Great, thank you so much. Seferine, how about you?
Alors moi, je suis rotarienne de cœur depuis petite. Mon papa a été rotarien et m'emmenait tout le temps avec lui en réunion partout dans les actions. Donc c'était vraiment, il n'y a pas eu d'hésitation à prendre le relais. Il a été également président du club auquel j'appartiens aujourd'hui. Je serai présidente l'année prochaine, donc il y a vraiment pour moi un héritage important. Ça me tient beaucoup à cœur. Et ensuite, le Rotary m'a permis de retrouver un lien social très fort. Je me sens comme dans une famille. À une époque de ma vie, je n'avais plus de lien du tout. Et ça m'a vraiment aidé à repartir du bon pied. Et puis, servir la communauté me permet aussi d'être une meilleure personne. Faire du bien me fait du bien. Alors, je ne veux plus m'arrêter, en fait. Voilà.
Oh, merci, merci beaucoup. Très bien. Antusha.
Yes, why I chose to be part of the Rotary is that a special group has a very special place in my heart, especially kids with disabilities. And I have been looking for somewhere to be part of a group that is helping these groups of kids. And by coming to the Rotary, I have the possibility to do fundraisings and to be a part of these projects and create new friendships. And with these friendships, we can achieve the same goals.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So thank you now for now. All three of you remind me when I see you in Barbados to give you some gifts, Rotary gifts. And thank you for your participation and input. Thank you so much. Well, I don't think this was on purpose by Liz, but these were all three women, very dynamic women. So thank you, Liz. So you heard it all. Very important to know where you are, to know where you want to go, and the reason why. And part of that is to having a plan, because you are a leader, and you know you are called by Rotary, right? Can I share my screen right now, Sean?
Yes, you can go ahead. You've been made co-host.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Are you all seeing my presentation?
No, not yet. Remember to click the left-hand corner at the bottom.
I did.
Okay, well, perhaps just try again.
Share the screen, right?
Yeah.
Oh, You know, I am into technology, and technology is great if it works. Can you start up, Sean, from your side? Okay. So while we wait on that, Sean Padi. Can you now see the screen?
No, we're not seeing the screen.
This is Sean. Are you there, Sean? Buddy?
Or let me see if I can share what I have.
My presentation is not coming up. Okay.
All right, hold on.
Thank you. There you go. Can you go to the next one, please? Oh. You know how Rotary is calling us, our nickname, we are people of action. And people of actions, we do have a pet. People of action is where Rotary is where neighbors, friends, and problem solvers share ideas, join leaders, and take action to create long-lasting change. And you have been identified by your club, by your members, your fellow members, to be part of the Rotary, and each one of you with your own reason to become part of Rotary. But if you want to execute your programs and your projects, it's nothing better than come together, join leaders, exchange ideas, and execute and have some action. Make plans for the community and make plans for service projects like we just heard. Can I have the next slide, please? So why is it important for you as a Rotarian to come together, to have meetings, to have, you know, exchange ideas? You can just click ahead, all of them, please. Most important of that is that you are a leader. So in Rotary, we are equal. We want to learn from each other. We want to come together and exchange ideas to execute projects. We are about to serve the community. And by the way, have some fun too. In Rotary, in the meetings, we have the opportunity to educate ourselves and to learn from Rotary, the Rotary stuff, and all the things that Rotary are giving us as an opportunity to educate and improve ourselves. And don't forget to have fun, food, and fellowship. Imagine you as a leader, joining a group of people, making plans together, all wanted to execute service projects, but you don't come together to make plans and to discuss things. What is the use of being a Rotarian? Being a Rotarian means you mingle with each other and you execute together. Don't be a rhino. As you know, rhino stands for Rotary in name only. Can I have the second one, the next one, please? So looking at how you want to go, you need a club compass. I need you to ask yourself, what kind of club are we? Are we a vibrant club, a club where everyone feels welcome, everyone is the same, we can discuss things, and we can execute projects? and we can be a vibrant club, or are we just a dull and boring club where we have our weekly or regular meeting where everyone comes together and hear the same thing, a dull club, where in time people will leave Rotary and will leave the club. So what is your club compass? We will look at that in a short while. But make sure to have plans up front. And those plans will start with a vision. And the vision is the next slide, please. How to be a vibrant club. So think about this. People are volunteering their businesses, their free time to be part of Rotary because they believe in the good cause of Rotary. They believe in the things that we are doing for the world. Volunteers who are willing to put their time into the work of Rotary. So in order to attract them, engage them, and make them part of the Rotary, let's have some interesting meeting. And in terms of doing that, you got to have a leadership plan. What is the leadership plan all about? In a leadership plan, you will make up your plans for the coming years, maybe short, mid, or long term, but also a succession in your plan. How you will deal with members in your club, how you will deal with meetings in your club, what kind of projects will you execute? A leadership plan that will improve the club and the club meetings, as we just heard. We're a 7, we want to go to 8.5, or you are a 4 and you want to go to a 7. But most of all, involve everyone in your club, every member in the club to be involved. A vibrant club, that's where we want to be. So the next slide, we're going to look at different types of meetings that we had and that we have. You just go and click on. We have the traditional or your standard meeting, your physical meeting, your club meeting, as we know that. We're going to look at the next slides of different physical meetings. We have the online meetings, and nowadays we have, you know, a combination of the physical and the online meetings, which is a hybrid meeting. Bear with me because I know some of you are very reluctant to use the technology like online, like we're doing right now, the Zoom meetings, because online meetings are an alternative, a very good alternative for people who cannot attend the physical meetings because they're traveling. The world has become so small with, you know, with our phone and with stepping up into an airplane and travel to all over the world. We will enable them to be part of the meetings through online. And then again, a combination of physical and online will be the hybrid meetings. So let's look at a physical meeting. The next slide, please. The physical meetings, just click ahead, Liz. This is not an exhaustive list of physical meetings that you can have, but you have your regular meetings or your standard meetings. Just go and click ahead, Liz. You have the fireside, special team meetings, special events. We have the fun nights. Just go ahead. And then we have hands-on meetings. And let me emphasize a little bit on those type of meetings, the physical meetings. The regular club meetings, like your standards or your traditional meeting, is where you come into a room with all the fellows and the board sit in front at the board, a table, and the audience sit in the room like all the rest of the members looking at the performance of the board. That is the standard or the regular meeting. The fireside, for instance, can be a meeting at a site, a house of a member, a fellow member, where you come together, informal together, have a fun meeting, exchange ideas, talk about Rotary projects, very informal, and special team meetings. Let me give you an example on that. Those special team meetings are, last week we had, last year, we had a special team meeting in the light of peace, which is very actual right now. And what we did in our club, we invited religious leaders from different religions. We invited leaders from the Muslims, the Hinduism, from Christians, from the Roman Catholics. We invited them to sit at a board and share their view with us on peace from their view of their own religion. And this was very enlightening for us, because at the end of the day, we concluded that everyone was the same and everyone was going for the same goal, and everyone had the same approach to establish peace in the world. That was very, very nice. Special events. Last week, the Rotary Clubs of Suriname, we have a mutual event, which is a huge national event. This is covered by every major television and every paper in Suriname. It's called the Rotary Vocational Excellence Award. And this event, we honor an individual in the community who has contributed in upgrading their environment, their community, their business, the total Surinamese community, and who has improved the life of those around them. So we honor that individual by organizing the Rotary Vocational Excellence Award, a special event, also a physical meeting. But then again, you don't have to be serious all the time. Organize some fun meetings, movie nights, dancing nights, go on and do some sports meetings, or go and do some bicycle together, whatever you want to do. Have some fun together, because Rotary is not all about work and business. You gotta have fun. You gotta have fun too. And those of you who know me as a past district governor or as a district governor, I'm all about fun, food, and fellowship. And the last one, a very important one too, do some projects together in the community. We call it hands-on meetings. So if you want to improve the orphanage or elderly home or some facilities or the garden of an orphanage, do it together, have some fun together, those projects. Sean, next one, Sean. So let's look at some online meetings. The pandemic has accelerated the use of technology. And I get it. Some of you are very reluctant to use online meetings or the online tools because of your own reasons. You do like the person-to-person meeting, the live standard meeting. And I do fancy that too, because there's nothing more beautiful I like than meeting persons face-to-face. But this is a good alternative. And look at us right now, right here, doing the PETS training online, where we can reach a lot more people than we have ever thought. Because sometimes traveling in our district, especially District 7030, where we have to travel to another country or another island to do or conduct the PETS training, can be a huge challenge. And here we are making use of that technology. It's a great thing. So it's here for you to use, to utilize, make use of it. And by the way, especially the last 2 to 3 years, things have been improved by the, the software companies, the Silicon Valley companies. Software and applications are improved, are faster. The only thing that is a huge challenge for us is the internet connection, especially in our part of the world. But make use of these tools. The most common tools that we have is Zoom, Teams from Microsoft. My company is totally standard on Microsoft and Teams, Microsoft Office. Cisco as well. Cisco has upgraded and improved their their application WebEx. You can also use live streaming like on social media, FaceTime, etc., and other online tools. But then again, I got it if you don't want to use the online meetings, but those tools are there for you to use in case any disasters happen and you don't want to have your club fall asleep or your members just lacking some meetings. These are the tools you can use. So before I go to the next slide, I'm going to show you some examples of physical meetings, right? The next slide is when you organize a physical meeting. I'm not going to show you a standard or a traditional club meetings because you all know what it's like to have standard and traditional meetings. But in the next slides, I want to show and share with you some examples. Like you're going to see that we have fireside at a place of another fellow members. He has a nice place at the river, and we were conducting a how you call it, Independence Day of Suriname. There was a nice evening at the riverside, and it was fun. Conferences, district conferences, RI conferences, conventions, you know, have some food, have some fellowship again, do some hands-on projects. You're going to see that we deliver school furniture to a school in need. Vocational visits as well. That means you can go to a business of a fellow who has a business and wants to share with you the way he operates his business. And you can have some meeting as well during that visit. By the way, in the slide, you will see that we have a vocational visit at a business of a fellow. This is a meat processing business. And by the end of the day, everyone was very happy because we got our share and packages of meat products. Sanitation projects or projects on hands. Those are types of meeting that you can do. Sean, can you show the slides, please? And by the way, don't forget to do some fun things together. Go on bicycling, go on walking together. This is the fireside. You see it's outside, outdoor, very nice at the riverside. Oh, by the way, this is PDG Alvin and Rebecca Holloway. This was the furniture project that I was talking about. Cookout, we cook together, we eat together, curry duck. And this was the sanitation project. This was the vocational visit. And by the way, we do exercise together and have fun and talk about Rotary things. So the next slide I want to show you is a small video about hold on. It's an online meeting. The online meeting that we had was during the peak of the pandemic, of the COVID situation in the world. And this was in 2021, 2020. So there were lockdowns everywhere. Movement of people were limited. We had to stay at home. But we refused to give up on meetings. So our board was very inventive. What we did, we organized an online wine tasting. And believe it or not, there were packages delivered to every and each member in the club. And the package was 4 bottles of wines and food. So you can start this one, John. So we had a wine expert telling us what kind of grapes they used, and this was the food that was delivered to our home. So the challenge was that you had to arrange the food in such a way nice. By the way, the food plank of the wood or the wooden plate was also part of the whole thing. So you had to arrange the food in such a nice way, take a picture and send it to the club or to the sergeant at arms. And the different wines goes with the taste of the different food. So by the time you were getting the wine, you had to wait on a signal from the wine expert or the wine connoisseur, as we say, to take a specific type of wine and a specific type of food to go with it. But as naughty as we were, by the time the wine expert was done, we already had some bottles empty and the food was already gone. So, and the best thing of all, at the end of the day, I didn't have to go to my car to drive home. I just went to my bedroom and slept over. So thank you so much. This is an alternative way and have some fun. Another alternative way to have some online meetings, I think I saw that one from the Rotary Club of Dominica, get Zoom Fit. That is the best thing to do too. Thank you so much for having that. Can I have the next slide, please, and Sean? Next one, please. No, next one. So, what are we looking at? If you want to conduct meetings or bringing people together, remember what I said, if you want to be a vibrant club, you got to have a leadership plan. You got to have a club compass. And we're going to start, because this one is very important. We're going to start with bylaws. So for those of you who don't have the bylaws, the club bylaws, I urge you as soon as possible to have your bylaws, club bylaws in place. You can adopt the standard club bylaws from Rotary and adjust it to your needs, but please make sure to stay in line of the Rotary Club bylaws. Why is this very important? Because in the club bylaws, you stated the name of your club. You will say in your club bylaws what kind of club you are. Are you a morning club, a breakfast club, a lunch club, or a dinner club? Most important as well, where do you meet? What are your meeting days, your meeting times, and where is the place that you meet? Are you a physical club or an e-club? And how are you conducting your club? You can put in the club meetings, you can put that all in your bylaws. Some of you, and I know by traveling throughout the district, because as a district governor, I visited each one of the clubs in the district. By then it was 70 or 72, I don't know anymore, but I visited them. You had challenges, for instance, with your club time and your club place. I remember a club in Martinique. When I came there, it was in the midst of the week, and it was a lunch club. On paper, they had 25 members, but on average during the meeting, the max that shows up maybe was 7 or 8. And the reason why is because, imagine this, Martinique. If you have ever been to Martinique, very beautiful island. I love Martinique. But the traffic is all jammed and packed in the midst of day. It's all traffic jam, heavy traffic. So young leaders and young businessmen and women who wants to join the Rotary meeting, they have a challenge to go to the meeting because it's in the midst of a business day. So I asked the club board, I said, why haven't you thought of changing your club meetings, your club meeting days and time? And they looked at me and they told me, well, this is how we always do it. And is it possible to change that? I said, yes. You have your club bylaws, you can amend it, or you can change that with the confirmation of all the club members. And if it's a challenge for all the members or a lot of members to come to your club meeting for a lunch meeting, change that. So why don't you think about Friday afternoon? It's weekend. People will come after their jobs, after their business, to have some cocktails and some food. In that way, you can attract and engage more members. And that was this was a bright idea for them, and they implemented it. And really, I don't know what happened after that, but I do hope that club still exists because they had a huge challenge. This is your club bylaw. You have to see that as your roadmap, part of your Bible, of your Rotary Club Bible. So for you to have the bylaws, make sure to publish your club meetings, your club days, time, and place. Because why? Rotarians all over the world are one family. If I go to the United States, if I go to Thailand, Japan, or wherever, if I wear my pin and I can identify myself as a Rotarian, I am always welcome to visit any Rotary meeting in the world. I was always invited in every country I visited to join a club meeting. But what I did first, I went on the internet, look where there was a club in my neighborhood or nearby, what date and time there was, and I visited the club. And make sure to call up the sergeant at arms first or the contact person if it was it suited them to visit the club at that time. It's very important to have your club meetings, days and time and place published. And if you do have weekly meetings or bi-weekly meetings. Second one, make sure to have an agenda. And Sean, can you end this presentation here? I just want to discuss this with all the, yeah, thank you. Make sure to have an agenda, a very well-planned, outsorted agenda for the meeting. Be on time, start on time, and end on time. If you have a guest speaker, introduce them properly to your members or to the club. Equally, if you do have visitors, introduce them correctly. Acknowledge members' anniversary, but let the sergeant at arms have everything in place at least or max 30 minutes before the meeting starts. Make sure the board is present before all members joins. You know, different protocols in different territories. I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit. But I like to see, and I love to see always when I visit the club meeting, everywhere I go, to see an identity of Rotary, the Rotary banner, the Rotary logo, the club banner logo. It makes me feel very welcome to be part of that huge and wonderful movement called Rotary. I'd like to see that and make sure to have that in your club, an identity, a Rotary identity. So the agenda, let's go into that. What are you? Are you I saw that during my visits. Are you a club, a freewheeling club that puts the agenda on the spot when it comes? So what are we going today? And we have some rumble in the jungle. Or you just plan ahead? It's very important for your leadership plan and your club meeting. At least have 2 or 3 weeks in advance agendas for the weeks. And come together as board, even if the agenda is set already, discuss this agenda because it's very important, because that's how you're gonna orderly have your club meetings. The bylaws will provide that, but your club meetings as well and your leadership plan. Then again, club bylaws are a separate training and a separate topic, as well as being a vibrant club. It's a separate training. The next slide, this is a very nice video that I borrowed from a club from India. So I can elaborate a lot of things on how you can conduct your meeting. but each their own. Different strokes for different folks, right? But make sure that your Rotary meeting is identifiable as a Rotary meeting. Some of you, you open up your meeting with the national anthem, which is very, very fine. Some of you, you include the citation of a Rotary four-way test or the Rotary prayer, the objects of Rotary. That's okay. Some of you, you don't do nothing at all. I just come into a Rotary meeting, they ring the bell and they start the meeting. Well, you know, at least show me some identity of Rotary by reciting the Rotary four-way test. That's a good thing to do because that is what is binding us together and that is what makes us one. You see, everyone has different things, but we have only one goal, is to keep the club meetings alive in an orderly manner. The next video, and this has been adjusted very wonderful by Sean, will show you some examples on how to conduct a club meeting. An example, the do's, the things you can do correctly, and the don'ts, the things you don't want to do. Make sure, I want to apologize up front. It's not an excuse. You will only, for my female participants and my lovely women in the audience, you will only see men, but this is an animation. It's an example. I hope that it will give you a good view of what I mean. And don't shoot me down because it's from India. It could, I think someone in our district is smart enough to produce the same quality of video as well. For the French people, pay attention to the video. Your translation, the text will be, most of the time will be up in the video screen. And for the English, the closed caption is at the bottom of the screen. But make sure to take some notes because you will laugh at from time to time when you see the video because you will recognize yourself. You will recognize yourself. So pay attention and take some notes. And don't forget those things that I have asked at the beginning of the sessions. Those questions and those answers that you have given will guide you throughout the rest of the years. You are incoming leaders. You are incoming presidents, club officers, and you will lead the way. So don't make the mistakes as in this video, but try to learn and try to improve.
blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah.
Hello.
Blah 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 blah.
So I do hope you have a good idea what a Rotary meeting can be all about and what you can include in your Rotary meeting as well. I know I have to slow down in my talking because of the translations. Excuse me for that. I will slow down my pace. So looking back at the beginning of the presentation, I ask you to fill in those questions. Use that same exercise in your club. Ask the members, are they happy with the club meetings or the club meetings? And what kind of score will they give? Will they submit to you for the club meetings? You know what the most important thing is for a leader? Is to listen and to execute. Listen to all and each one of your members, what they're feeling and what they want, where they want to go with the club. Practice that exercise that I have given to you. If the status is a 4 and they want to upgrade them to a 7, ask them, what is the reason why you are giving the club a score of 4? And what would you do to improve the club meetings? Because it's not about me, it's not about you, it's about us. We have to do it together. And ask them, why are you joining the Rotary? Because we have identified you as a leader in the community. We have asked you to be part of the Rotary. And by the way, we believe in your skills to share with us with your knowledge. And then we have several resources. Sean, can I have the next slide, please? I have sent to you, to all of you, each one of you, some documents. Don't learn it by heart. Just use it as for your personal reference. How other clubs are doing that, how to be a vibrant club. I've sent to you the Rotary basics. I have also included the Rotary bylaws for you who don't have the bylaws yet or just want to update your club bylaws. Make use of that. But there's always a huge and rich resource of information on Rotary.org. And I know this is a challenge for some of you because some of you don't even have a Rotary ID or to go and to log into My Rotary. Just do that. You as a leader have to set examples, okay? Rotary.org, go to My Rotary and eLearn, the Learning Center. There's a huge database of information. Go to that. Other resources, your district trainer. I know that Liz will be very happy to address those topics of your questions that you have. Your past district governors can always be a resource for you, your club trainers and your senior trainers. But make sure to educate yourself, set an example, conduct the trainings, conduct the club meetings, everything that you want to do in an orderly way. There's always resources out there. You can call on me, you can call on Liz, you can call on your senior Rotarians, your club trainers, but please do that. Educate yourself and the resources that are available to you on the internet, Rotary.org. So enough talking for me to do. Let's discuss some things. But if you do have questions, next slide, please. You can always call. And this is my email address and this my phone, my WhatsApp. But I prefer to go to your club and discuss things first to your club trainer or your district trainer. But I am always available. I will always answer your email, even if it's hi, confirm or receive. I will always do that. Thank you so much for that. So by saying this, thank you, Liz, for this short introduction. Thank you for the, sorry for the glitch, the technical glitch. I don't know what happened with my screen, but thank you, Sean, for the wonderful support. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. And if you do have questions, let's address them here.
Yes, please. Thank you so much. You're most welcome, but thank you so much for your presentation. I think that the information that you've shared this morning surely sets the tone for persons to think out of the box. That wine tasting virtually was an excellent idea. I think that you have also shared so many tips that persons I know can use and will use. Now, leaders, incoming leaders, do you hear the passion in Elwin's voice? Let's transfer that to you as well, and by extension to your club members. So please, we would like you to participate. I know that PP Lisa, who is monitoring the chat box, I believe I can hand over to her now and perhaps take us through some questions before we open for that discussion. We'll also be taking a break just after the Q&A before we come back, and then we'll discuss. We'll have some questions that Elwin wants to share and certainly have a discussion with you. PP Lisa.
Thank you, PP Liz. PP Elwin, you're saying something? PDG Elwin, you wanted to say something?
No. If we are going to the stretch and break, some people are asking me to show the email again and the number. Sean is going to show that during the stretch and break.
All right, we could put it in the chat as well. I think.
Right.
Right. Go ahead.
So, PDG Elwin, thank you again. We had a few comments coming up while you were presenting, especially they noted the fun and pause allows us to grow and be creative as Rotary clubs. Apparently the wine tasting caught a lot of persons' attention. It's simple, effective, and actually someone is asking if it can be replicated as cocktails. The video, the illustration and animation really caught persons' attention also. One specific question though for you, PDG. Is there an ideal meeting time in terms of length? Is there a yes or no to how long a meeting should go?
Yes and no. There's no one size fits all here, right? I know that clubs are meeting every week, weekly meetings, but some clubs do have one physical meeting and one fun meeting. And I know for sure there's a club in Suriname who has bi-weekly meetings twice a month. Rotary requires that you meet at least 2 meetings in a month. And the length depends on what. Remember, I have mentioned the bylaws. You can put anything in your bylaws. If you say, you know, my weekly club meetings is only 35 minutes or 45 minutes or 1.5 hours or 2 hours, it's fine, because you will include some fellowship times before or fellowship times afterward, it's fine. Just go with whatever you are saying, but make sure to have everyone on board. So that's why it's very important. Oh, am I going too fast for the French translation? Okay, I will slow down. Make sure to have that written down somewhere and everyone confirms to that. If it's 1 hour a meeting or 2 hours a meeting, it's fine with us. It's fine with you. Whatever works best for you, go with it. So there's no ideal thing. And if you want to have food and fun first and just talk about Rotary for 30 minutes, that's fine with me too. I will enjoy every meeting. So there's no ideal thing. The only thing that Rotary requires is that you meet. And the minimum requirement is that you meet at least twice a month. And Rotary is not, how you call it, saying to you, you have to meet only physically. These days, we have alternatives. We have very different meetings. We have fun nights. You have project meetings. Whatever you want to do, at least meet and talk about Rotary stuff. I hope this answer will cover the questions.
I think you got it. DGE Leslie, you have your hand raised.
Yes, thank you. PDGL, when you spoke, you mentioned the club bylaws. Can you tell us whether or not clubs can change the period during which they should have elections? Those periods when the new officers are named. See, it says 31st of December. Clubs change it.
It's okay. Before I answer this one, you have to know, all of you, that we have a parliament, a Rotary parliament, and it's called the Council of Legislation, which is every 3 years. During the parliament, the Council of Legislations, things can change. So it's still stated in the bylaws, in the Rotary bylaws, that you should have elections for the incoming officers or the next officers. The reality in our district is that we have many small clubs. And I just encountered a club in, I won't mention the country or the name of the club. On paper, they had 12 people. And while executing the projects and coming together, they had 3 or 4 every time. Even my board meeting with a club were 12, were only 2 people, where there should be 12, and they were very embarrassed. But I was not the one to judge them, because the projects that they execute were wonderful projects, you know. So imagine this club, a president being president forever. How will you conduct elections? So yes, there's a rule that you gotta have elections, and yes, you have to appoint the next leaders for the next years, for the next terms, preferably within the club. Yes, you have to do that. We are not going to change the rules of Rotary if it's not going to change within the Council of Legislation yet. Maybe PDG David can elaborate more on that. But if it's not broke, don't fix it. See? I'm talking about presidents, but there are AGs there in some countries who are forever AGs, forever. I don't know what's happening, because when I came in as a district governor, I asked, oh, who can I appoint in that country? Pop. And I looked at it, but this person has a history of like 10 years of AG. So is there not something else? Someone else? So yes, DG Leslie, you're correct. I don't know if we can single-handedly change that rule. It's not broke, don't fix it. And if the club works and they find that Lisa has got to be the next president for the next 3 years, and the clubs approve that, we'll be fine with that too. It's not the ideal situation, I know, because we are leaders and we have to train leaders as well. It's not the most perfect answer, but I hope it will cover that a little bit.
Thank you, PDG. Another question. Do you believe that the non-traditional meetings can be effective at retaining and attracting younger members?
I do believe that, absolutely, absolutely. It's up to you as a club, how you are engaged and involving the members, especially new and younger members. I can only refer to my club. What we are doing, we have engaged and attract Rotary actors as well. And the moment they enter the Rotary Club, we give them responsibility over projects, over officers to become an officer in the club. We give them a responsibility. It's not how you look at those young people, it's how you deal with the young people and the new members. Give them responsibility. Involve them from minute one, the minute that they are part of the road, involve them and give them some responsibility. And you know what? You have seen the video or my presentation. There are many ways, non-traditional ways in conducting meetings. They can be appealing and attractive to new members, and where they can revive themselves and say, hey, listen, I want to be part of this club. But make sure not to lose the focus on the purpose of Rotary. Because if I want to have fun and dance a lot, I can go to another club as well, right? I don't have to join a Rotary. Make sure to be clear on the purpose of Rotary in every meeting. I can go to the club at the corner of the street and have some fun, food and fellowship and have my booze. I'm not into an alcohol person, but I'm telling you, this is one way to do it. By the way, this is a joke, but I will tell you this about traditional things. When I visited the clubs, and especially this will stay in my mind, the French clubs are so fun. When I visited all the French clubs, you know, they had fellowship before the meetings. And when you come into a French club, you start with a petit punch. I don't know if you know what that is. A petit punch is a glass of rum with sugar and some lemon inside. And you had breakfast club, lunch club, and dinner club. And I'm not too much into alcohol, but by the end of all my meetings, I'm telling you, you can let a cigarette light in front of my nose and my head would explode. So, but that was fun. I was becoming a serious alcohol addicted by doing my French visit. But it was fun, you know, it was fun. So whatever attracts young members, listen to them. Don't invite them to become members and you will put them in a corner, involved and listen. I am emphasizing, I cannot emphasize this enough. When you are an incoming officer or an officer in the club or a leader in the club, listen to your club, listen to your member, what they need.
Yeah, thank you. Rotary and Adrian, I see you have your hands raised. And after Adrian, there's one other question in the chat. I think we'll take that and then we can probably break. Rotary and Adrian, you want to go ahead with your question?
Mr. Saunders, how are you? Been a long time. Your mic is off. Your mic is off, by the way. Turn on your mic, Adrian. You're still muted. Yeah, I know. Technology is great if it works, right? Thank you.
Allowed. The host did not allow me to unmute my mic.
Okay.
DJ Edwin, it's great seeing you and your presentation. I just want when the question was asked about the bylaws, what kind of included in the bylaws. I think that clubs are at liberty once the things being considered are not in violation of our Constitution. That's your guiding thing is the Arab Constitution. Therefore, you cannot implement in your bylaws.
Adrian, you're absolutely correct. You cannot amend, but you can still add some things club owned, right? So you cannot change the outline or the main line of the bylaws. But if you say, listen, I want to change from being a lunch club to a dinner club, you're free to do that. It's not in violation with the Constitution of RI. And if you want to say, listen, from this day on, I don't want to be an only male club because those clubs still exist in our district. We want to let females in. We want to have women in the club. You can always change that. So you're absolutely correct, Adrian. Thanks for your contribution. That's a great one.
PDG, before I go to the last question, from reading the chat and understanding that tea punch is a welcome drink or a friendship drink before a statutory meeting, and as a DG visiting meetings, I can well understand what you experienced. The question is, what should or may guide how you choose a guest speaker? And are they chosen by the presidents or the chairs?
Well, that's not an easy question to answer. I would say everyone has the opportunity to submit a guest speaker, right? To propose a guest speaker, not only the chair or the officers, but everyone in the club. If I'm just a member and I know, oh, Liz is coming to Suriname and Liz knows a whole lot about insurance, why cannot I propose her to be a guest speaker? You see, the thing is, the point, it has to be an upgrade for your knowledge in the club, or a revealing or something cheerful or bright. You know, you don't need people, guest speakers in the club who are full of themselves, because we had those in the clubs talking about themselves. I see Liz is laughing, but she knows what I mean. But if you invite someone else, it has to be an improvement to your knowledge as well and to different views. And I would say do it together. If you want to identify guest speakers or you want to propose guest speakers, see if it's upgrading to your knowledge or to the club itself. That's what I want to suggest. But you're free to do. You're free to do. We had a guest speaker about he was a Hindu priest, and he told us the meaning of how you call it, when the sun comes before the moon
Eclipse?
Eclipse, the eclipse, yeah, that's the right one. And a whole story about behind that. So that was very enlightening for us too, you know.
Okay, thank you, PDG Elwin. For those who asked, PDG's contact information is in the chat and we'll share it again. But I'll hand you back over to PP Liz before the break.
Thank you, PP Lisa. You know, I'm smiling, Elwin, because, you know, when I served as president, even as secretary in the Rotary Club of Georgetown, Lisa would always say, Liz, I know when you're not taking in that guest speaker is not what you expected. She said it showed on my face, so couldn't hide my expression. All right.
Yeah,
so
I have to correct myself. I see yeah, absolutely correct. A Hindi priest is a pandit. Thank you for that.
All right, I just have one question to ask you. And I know that I think is a question I think a lot of persons may think of, but not necessarily want to ask. You have different personalities in clubs. We have different personalities across the district. We have people who are extroverts who would readily speak out. You know, question is asked and they jump at a response, and introverts would stay quiet and perhaps has to be asked. But how can you, you know, in a meeting, there will be people who tend to dominate that meeting. How can the chair of that meeting, be it the president or the secretary, whoever is chairing that meeting, whether it's a subcommittee meeting or whether it's an actual, you know, Rotary board meeting or even a regular meeting, how can you control someone who wants to dominate a meeting? How without making that person feel like you're putting them on the spot or small?
I've been expecting this question from you, Liz. You know where you want me to go to? I'm going to share a little bit history about me and Liz together. When I was district governor at the district conference in Suriname in 2015, I performed an act on the podium about those members of being loud and dominated in clubs, right? And just before we go to stretch and break, I'm going to give you a little entertainment on this one because there's no suitable answer for this. I'm going to express this in a way that I am a happy and funny way. But up front, you know, I have mentioned that before, different strokes for different folks. Not everyone is the same. Some are quiet. Some want to be heard, some want to dominate, some want to use you, some want to abuse you, whatever it takes. But you are the leader. Remember that you are the director of the orchestra. So I'm going to share with you a small part of what my act during 2015. By the way, it's not an original act, but I copied that. And every time I see Liz, she reminds me of that. Because pretty soon, the new year will start. And this is how the new year will start for you. Can you hear this? Can you hear the sound? So now you're the director of the orchestra. You are in charge. You have all these big plans. All these wonderful plans, and you're coming into the new year, your audience are expecting you, and you listen, and you give each member their tools, their instruments, and they start playing their own part. Everyone, each one of them, and you progress into your year. So is your club meeting, by the way. And you have those who listen. They play different instruments, different levels, some of them very mute, some of them very loud. But they play that one song that you had on paper, the plan that you had in the first place, the Rotary song, the Rotary purpose, the Rotary focus. They keep on playing, and you are still the director of the meeting. You're still the director and the club officer. of the club and you come and you listen to false notes. You listen to assemble all the different voices together for that beautiful song. And you keep on going. You keep on going the things, doing your things. And then everyone feels the hype, the fire up. Everybody joins in. They do their own thing, but still the one sound. One a violin, the other a drum, the other one beats the polka or the cymbal. And you know what? You still listen. You're a director. And everyone comes together, everyone fire. The one talks and the one speak, and the other one, you know what? I want to be heard. And we keep on going. Remember, you're still the director. You're still the president of the club, assembling everyone together, right? And you keep on going. So now everyone joins in. And you still have those knuckleheads at the back of the room who wants to be heard, who are loud or dominating. You're still listening, but you still have the plan. Focus on the plan. Still focusing on the plan. Your agenda. Finish that agenda. Finish that agenda. Because by the end of the day, you all come together and you will finish that beautiful song called Rotary. Rotary. And by the way, this is how you deal with it. This is how you make people feel proud, included, and engaged. Let me tell you this, Liz, because I know you're in favor of my acting. You have two types of meetings. Make sure to plan your agenda up front. Make sure that you distribute your agenda up front to all members so they know what you will be talking about and how you will deal with the agenda. So there's no room for freewheeling, rumble in the jungle thing. No, this is the agenda that we will do. On the other side, Rotary has given every club or required every club to have club assemblies. You know, club assemblies are great tools for everything that wants to be discussed in the club and people are loud about it. So you set in the club assemblies only the specific Rotary topics that you want to discuss, and they can shout whatever they will, but by the end of the club assembly, we agree on this solution. I'm making this point a clear point from now on. So you are the director of the beautiful orchestra. People can beat the drums, people can beat the polka, people can finally play the violin on a soft way, but you are still in charge. Don't forget that you are still in charge. So whenever someone wants to bully you, or that great song, someone wants to abuse me, you know, I always say, there's a supermarket nearby me. I will go to the supermarket, buy a big pot of Vaseline, a gel, put it on my bag and let it slide. Don't be distracted by your goal. Your focus is the agenda and finish the agenda.
Thank you so much. I think that was appropriately demonstrated. I don't think anyone will forget. Pipi Lisa?
Yes, one band, one sound. Rotarian PDG Elwin, Rotarian Longford has a question or a query. If you would allow him, please.
Hi, Longford, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes,
yes, we can.
Thanks for your very interesting comments. Before you go, I wanted to ask you, given the fact that many of the clubs are in small countries, and given the fact that politicians within these various societies come to the fore, they're prominent people, and there's a temptation to invite sometimes politicians to be a guest speaker. Does Rotary International have any particular guidance with having politicians at their meetings? where the possibility of stones being thrown across to the other side occur at the meeting?
That's a very good question. It's a very good topic to pop up. Thank you so much for that question. You know, in small communities, as in our region, especially the Caribbean region, District 7030, small countries, we are dealing with this topic as well. And small market economies where people or groups stand in others' way, we will easily be challenged by these things. And Rotary doesn't object to the fact to invite politicians to as a guest speaker or come to your club as a visitor. In the contrary, you know, many of the United States presidents are Rotarians, right? And on the base of the erection of the United Nations, the Rotarians were the basis of the United Nations. So Rotary and politics, I don't think there's a strict line between that. But let me tell you this, based on my experience. And this was the question that was earlier, what kind of speaker can I invite to the club? You gotta have mutual understanding in your club. I always go for mutual understanding. If it's gonna harm your club, whatever speaker you invite, whoever you will invite, my advice to you is don't do it. If not everyone is feeling comfortable with the speaker that you will invite, ask or listen to what their objections is. And I cannot judge for any club, nor can I judge for you what will be useful or be harmful for your club. It depends on you, your club, and it depends on the territory. But no, Rotary doesn't specifically object against politicians. It's how you will do and deal with it as a club. But then again, if it's harmful or can break relations in the club, don't go that way. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But I have nothing against politicians. We have politicians in our club, so we don't mind. We don't discuss party politics, let's say that. What we are discussing is why is the gas price that high?
Yeah. Okay.
But I hope Lawford this will do for you. Sir, I cannot give you a specific answer on this one. It all depends on the situation. And
I think
I'm not in the position of judging other people.
I think it would be useful to go through the additional step of letting your members know, or your board at least know, that you're bringing a politician aboard and getting their feedback as to how he should be guided in his comments, you know, because we've had situations where we've had to tell the members to tell their guest speaker we invited that we really don't want him to make any political statements. We want to address, as you pointed out, a particular issue and get his opinion on it or his advice, but to stay away from political statements. That hasn't always been successful. I think we've stepped up a couple of times and it's annoyed members.
Yes, sir. I think that's a correct way to go. And if everyone is happy with that, you should do that. But stay away from political party issues from your club, because Rotary has nothing to do with politics, nor religion, nor whatever, nor denomination. We're all equal and we have to listen to each other. But that's a great statement. Thank you.
Thank you. PDG Elwin, you're amazing persons. Questions are coming. Rotary and Eileen, I see you have a question.
Eileen, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you. Good morning all. Thank you, PDG Elwin, for an excellent presentation, very impactful indeed. My question surrounds the admission of persons into the club. And you later find out that that individual may have had a brush with the law. Perhaps, you know, we live in small societies, especially in a place like Antigua. And that individual may have come from another territory. And so club members may not have been aware that that person may have had a brush with the law, and it's known to others in the country from which he or she came. How do you then confront that situation?
Oh, this one is very familiar to me. So, by the way, I love Antigua. I got to visit Antigua again sometime. Antigua and Barbuda. Listen, and this goes for all of you, all the clubs. When you are screening new members or potential members to be part of your club, please don't rush it. Please don't rush it. Give it some time. I will tell you the procedure, what we are using in our club. If there are potential members, we have to fill out a form and then submit the form to the board. And this is a membership board who will look at the form and the potential member, and they will do their research. They will go to every member and look if there's some issues, because maybe I don't know some of the issues, like Eileen said. Afterwards, I can discover that there are some issues with the law. But if you go, then we have a period. In our case, it's maybe 6 months, and that the board, the membership board is doing their job. And after there is no objections against the proposed member, we put down the names, the paper on the table for 3 meetings in a row. So people who have missed the proposal, they can always look at the name on the paper and say, oh, Elwin is being proposed by member X to become member. No, I don't like Elwin. He's too short and he's too ugly. I don't want him to be part of our club. So if there's any objections of what kind, if there's any objections, the rule is don't let that person in as a new member, because you don't want to use your existing member. Then again, you have to be sure that your membership commission, you have to bend and rely on them that they will do a great job, a good job, by informing to every member if there's any objection to do that. Because if, in the case of Eileen, if you miss anything, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to turn that around. You have some tools to turn that around, but it's going to be ugly. And like we recently had in another country, where one member thought he can bully the rest of the females or whatever. He was already part of that, of the club, but still it was getting very, getting very ugly with courts and laws and so on. So be sure before letting someone in, take your time, let a grace period pass by and make the membership commission. If you don't have a membership commission, install that to do their job and to their work. Because if I miss something as someone who proposed a new member, others have other objections. So once that person, that individual is part of your team, you have some tools. You have some how do you call it, tools. We did it with 2 members in our club. We asked them in a friendly way to step down from the Rotary membership, and they did. So, but sometimes it can get ugly. I hope this will answer your question, Eileen. I don't have one size fits all answers. Depends on the situation. If someone has committed a felony and a major crime, it will be all over the place, especially in Antigua, right? And as well as in Suriname. So I don't know. But as someone has touched someone else inappropriate and it becomes a big issue, I don't know. I don't know. Eileen, are you happy with this answer, Eileen? Oh, she's gone.
Yeah, we have two other raised hands and two questions. Yes. I think you touched on the answer for one of the questions already, where they were asking if a Rotarian decides to get into politics and become a government minister, should he or she resign from their club? I think you hinted at this. It's more about what the club and how they look, the outlook of the club.
Well, let me talk about from my experience. I was asked twice to be appointed as a minister. I declined because of my personal reasons. And I was asked to be appointed as ambassador for Suriname in China. And I declined as well because I couldn't handle my family situation and my business situation. But in the end, I was very happy to decline because I'm a very difficult person to be a puppet on a string for anyone else. So.
Okay, thank you. Rotarian Séverine, I hope I got that right. My French is not good.
Séverine, ça va?
Oui. Eh bien,
okay.
Justement, je voulais témoigner. Je suis élue conseillère municipale donc, dans ma ville, à Saint-Pierre-de-Martinique, mais je suis également rotarienne dans le club de Saint-Pierre-de-Martinique. Donc, en fait, quand le club travaille avec la ville, évidemment, sur certaines actions, mais dans ces cas-là, je fais un choix. Soit je me place du côté du Rotary et je ne prends aucune décision politique. C'est d'ailleurs plus souvent ce que je fais. C'est-à-dire que je préfère, selon les actions à mener, me placer complètement du côté du Rotary. Donc, je n'interviens plus du tout. C'est-à-dire que si l'action que nous menons avec le club doit, par exemple, passer en conseil municipal, eh bien, je ne participe pas au vote. Je me retire du vote et je le dis clairement, qu'il n'y ait pas d'interaction entre les deux. Voilà. Donc, on peut être politique et être rotarien, mais il faut savoir clairement prendre position sur ce qu'on fait. Voilà. On ne mélange pas les choses. Quand je suis dans mon club en réunion, je ne parle pas non plus de politique. Mais ça ne m'empêche pas de travailler pour ma ville et pour mon club. Voilà, tout simplement.
Thank you. And then again, I'll give you an example. One member of our club, the Rotary Club of Paramaribo residents, is also the Minister of Defense in Suriname at the moment. And she has chosen not to attend the meetings, but she is participating in fun things. Last week we had, in the light of Rotary Peace Fellowship, the Paul Harris Day, she was the main speaker, but only for peace. And after that, we had just fun, food, and fellowship. So you're absolutely correct. Draw the line. Draw the line. You have to draw the line.
Oui, absolument.
And by the way, the president of our country, Suriname, was the president of Rotary Club Paramaribo. So, you know, he also draws the line. But it has some advantages. Have some connections, right? Thank you, Sabrina. Good point.
Question? Sorry.
Merci.
Question. Is it okay to let members who are being considered for membership to be given updates on how the process is coming along?
No, I would not recommend that because you're creating expectations for the proposed members. And if it goes wrong along the way and that person is not allowed into Rotary, you know, you're gonna label someone unnecessary. Oh, you're not good enough to be part of the Rotary or whatever. So I would be very discreet on that, not to expose them. Or you can tell about Rotary and what Rotary is doing, or you can tell about the wonderful story of being a Rotarian, but don't emphasize on the fact, oh, you are good stuff. I will bring you in. I will bring you in as a Rotarian. You know, sometimes some people can object. And then again, priority is to keep your members, your existing members, whatever objects they have, for whatever reason, don't take that risk. Don't take that risk. So protect both sides, the club and the prospect member, if that's the question, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Rotarian Cedric and Glenn, I know you have questions, but we need to take a 5-minute break now. Maybe as soon as we come back, PDG Elwin can still address your questions before we continue. Hoping you'll bear with us for that.
Okay.
Thank you. There was also a comment in general, PDG, that we also need to take our DEI into consideration in terms of the whole political scene, religious scene, everything, that diversity. Rotary is embracing more diversity now.
Absolutely, absolutely.
PP Liz.
Thank you, Elwin, and thank you, PP Lisa, for moderating that Q&A. I know that Rotarians have a lot of questions, and we do have other segments of the pets coming up where I'm sure you'll be able to ask questions on membership. PDG David is going to be there helping us to, discuss those items. So please remember to get your questions ready for those sessions. You have the agenda, so you know. So let's at this point, it's 11:06. Could we take a 5-minute break, please? And then we're back. Just take a stretch break. I'm sure each of us would like to have a little stretch at this time. Thank you. So see you in 5 minutes. I know that the questions are coming fast and furious, but we do have other sessions that we will address some of those questions that are being posed in this session here. So at this point, we will go straight into the discussion topic, which I know that you have 3 questions, and I've asked 2 persons to place those questions in the chat. But Elwin, once you finish chewing or your apple, we can get started. Let's get started on it. So over to you for the discussion portion of this exercise.
Good. Are we on?
Yes. We've restarted.
Good. My last slide was, and I want to pick on your brains and share with me, what would you do to upgrade or to revive your club meetings? Give me some ideas, please. Share with us. What would you do to upgrade or revive your club meetings?
You can place the response in the chat, or you can raise your hand and we'll unmute you. What would you do to upgrade your club meetings, revive your club meetings?
And the second question is, share with us or exchange ideas of other types of meetings that you haven't seen in the presentation yet. What type of meeting can we use in light of fun, food, and fellowship, but also education. Don't forget that Rotary meetings are a good platform to educate yourself on Rotary matters. I see PDGs here are great resources, PDG David, PDG Lyle, the district trainer, but what other types of meeting can you share with us?
So one has put in the chat to have more informal meetings or add additional guest speakers. Any comment on that? The more informal meetings part?
I would go for that. One of the way of getting some information from another person is to have met a bar, a very informal meeting. After a couple of drinks, they will start talking, loosen up a little bit. It's just a joke, but you know what I mean, right? Informal meetings are a great way to exchange ideas. People don't feel the pressure of saying things, don't feel the pressure of giving answer on a question, but free ideas, discuss free things.
Right,
Yeah.
and I guess too, informal meetings can be also had in an informal setting, perhaps at a bar,
Yeah.
some sitting, on the beach, some kind of
Absolutely.
activity that the environment that reduces the tension. So it creates that informality and persons tend to open up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Charles is saying have more
Let-
interesting speakers and topics. Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. Let me remind you of a picture that I show in my presentation. The last one, my physical one, with the Rotary Club. We went to for a Sunday morning walk together. And you know what? During that walk with the group, great ideas were born for Rotary clubs. It's a club from Atusha, by the way, Rotary Club of Paramaribo, Kota. I joined that group on a Sunday morning and walk, and I heard great ideas. So they're gonna execute that. It's other way of informal meeting as well. Have some fun nights.
Correct. Sonia Pari is saying have fun activities. Yes, for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. You got me. If you have some fun ideas and fun meetings.
For sure.
The dance.
Sheridan is saying include speakers from within the community and have fun activities, cooking classes. Well, I'm up for that. So if you have any cooking classes going, just let me know. Sip and paint.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I believe I saw Sip and Paints is done in Evangelist Club in Antigua, and I thought that was a great idea as well. Sip and paint. Yeah. Yep. Then we have. We now have Zoom International Rotarians to talk
during
about
holidays
the
as well. Eh? Absolutely. During holidays as well, enjoy the holidays, utilize those holidays. I know for sure PDG David can emphasize on that. They have a wonderful Christmas carol meeting. I think it's Christmas under the stars. I don't know how they do there, but that's a fun way to do it. And you get, oh, what is this? Ba 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 ba.
Correct. Charles from Grenada is saying, seeing that we're now on Zoom, we can attract and we can get some international Rotarians to be our guest speakers. And we saw that in PG last year, we were able to tap into, and last year, we were able to tap into lots of international speakers because we're now on Zoom. So you can actually travel the world and people can come visit us from any corner of the earth. Nandio said,
then again, I get it when people are sometimes or somehow reluctant to use technology, online meetings, but it's a great tool to use. And especially in our situation right now, it's a great tool. Online meetings, as we can see what's happening in the world. If we don't have internet meetings or streamlines, we cannot show the devastating things that are going on in the other part of the world. So they are there, use them, online meetings.
Nandio is suggesting quality guest speaker. All right, well, that's subjective. Partner in service meeting once a quarter, informal meeting once a quarter. Yeah, partner in service. That's a really great opportunity to get to know the family members because they could probably bring their children as well, depending on the type of meeting, of course, that you're holding.
Yeah.
Ravindra is saying replace one with Rotary meeting members going to exercise where they can invite their spouse or spice and prospective members. It's a great opportunity when you have informal meetings in informal setting to invite prospective members to see if this is a club I want to join. All right, to see what's the experience like. Is this the experience I'm looking for? So that's great.
I encourage everyone to visit other clubs. At least if you go, every one of us are able to travel the next time, right? If you do to travel to another country, visit another club. It will be so enriched to you.
You get great ideas from clubs in other districts as well. Tanya is reminding us that we did have a child obesity prevention exercise going, and we do have a leaderboard, and that is also another important thing to do, to showcase who's doing what. So that leaderboard is really driving a lot of excitement throughout our district.
Great. That's why I like the Zoom link from I think it was the Rotary Club of Dominica, Fit on Zoom, something like that.
Yes, it is. Joel is saying family days, have a family days, allow family members to meet other family members,
Oh,
especially
absolutely.
for the clubs with younger members where you have persons with young children. It's a great opportunity to probably start an earlier club. All right. Dear Raj is saying, in terms of reviving meetings from the perspective of attendance, how about reaching out to members individually, encouraging them to attend? Another great way for a person to feel special. I did mention, must have been on Thursday, that, you know, it's really a good thing if the president can call someone. I've seen and experienced that myself. Someone saying, you know, when I served as president, Liz, I only came because you called me. The power of the president. Let's use our power. Let's use our power to get people coming to your meetings or functions as well.
But then again, I don't think that's enough. Huh? If someone endorses you to become to call on your position, it's what you do as a total, as a program. Engaging that will be for the members, including your club meeting, by the way.
Correct. Yes. That's true. Yes. Anne Marie is suggesting a talent night, and I think I saw some club in this district, might have been Giselle's club, or no, it is the club, Rotary Club of St. Lucia. They had a talent night, and they had a cooking night. They had some very good. Leighton is here. Perhaps Leighton, you can share some of what you did when you served as president. And I attended quite a bit of those sessions.
Now I was asking you to repeat the question.
All right, no, you know, we're talking about reviving our club meetings, and I was mentioning all of the things you did under your stewardship as the president in Rotary Club of St. Lucia last year. And I attended quite a bit of those events. So perhaps you can share some of what you did, because you had some really interesting wine night, and you had a talent night, you had a cooking night. It was really good. You had a chef in, actually demonstrating to prepare a dish. So please share with us.
Yes, you've said them all basically. Most importantly was our wine and cheese fiesta. Well, that's not something we've been doing it for quite a few years now, but when I saw what was shared with us earlier, it just reminded me of what we've been doing with that event and how successfully it has worked for us. So I would encourage other clubs to try that project. It's people like it. And you may be surprised how successful it might be for you. But we did quite a few other things. Like you said, we brought in a celebrity chef from Sandals. One of Sandals' main chefs do a live cooking performance for us. And that was really interesting. Everybody went home and tried that recipe that evening. We've had some games night. We have had online quiz competitions. Again, that was very interesting. It built up this competitiveness among members, and it was really, really successful. Can't recall all of that stuff right now. Maybe Shiba, who's in the room, can remind us some of the things we did, but certainly those 2 nights that stood out in my mind, our celebrity chef and the quiz night that we did.
Thank you, AG Leighton, sorry. I know that Barbados usually have a carols by candlelight, but this last year they had it virtual. So PG David, you know, I like to pick on you. Share with us how that went, how the virtual, must have been, I think, your second virtual carols by candlelight.
I will decline on that though. But my president-elect, this is Peck, so I'm going to defer to my president-elect and let my president-elect partake.
Sure.
Tracy, I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay. Tracy? Okay, we have to unmute Tracy. Just give her a minute. Give us a minute or two.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Yes, we did have our carols by candlelight virtually this year. You know, we usually have it in person at Ilara Court, the residence of our Prime Minister. But for the second year running, we hosted it at our drive-in. So patrons drove in, they stayed in the safety of their vehicles, and we recorded the show, and it was screened like a movie. And it was good because it pivoted in a different way. Because we had screen time, we were able to use that opportunity to do videos, intersperse our concert with videos of Rotary projects. So we had a captive audience, not only watching the show, which is normally a musical dance show. We were able to showcase our Rotary projects interspersed in the program. And secondly, we had patrons responding to us differently. Usually at Carols by Candlelight in person, we would have people clapping and so forth. But during the show at highlights, you would hear like car horns honking and cell phones lighting up. So people, we got our different response, but we had 2 sold out nights for the show. We had it on Saturday and Sunday at our local drive-in, and people came and made a mini event out of it. So they brought their chairs and they sat in front of their cars. They were in their bubbles, and we also had our children from the children's homes enjoying the show as well. They came out and we had a special area for them. So the club for the past 2 years, and that's under the directorship of President Robin, would have pivoted and been able to have this event virtually. And so we were able to continue, and it went well. So that's what's happened. That's what happened in Barbados with Carols by Candlelight.
Great.
Over 20 years running, and COVID didn't stop us.
Wow.
Thank you.
Excellent, President-elect Tracy. I know Juan has placed a note in the chat to say that Grenada also have a Carols by Candlelight. So Juan, would you want to share how that experience has been? You said you scaled back for the last 2 years. Did you have it at all?
Hi, Lizzie. Thanks, Dad. Yes, we did. We've been running the Carols by Candlelight for at least 15 years now at our Quarantine Park Point. So due to COVID, for the first COVID edition, which is in 2020, we actually set up social distancing circles. So we changed the format. So normally we would have had it for at least for 2 nights, a big musical concert. But what we did, we had it over a number of nights. We added a movie night. As I said, we added the social distancing circles, roughly 6 feet, so families and parties could stay together and be socially distanced. We extended the number of nights. We still would have had our Christmas lighting, which we partnered with a local family, the Benoit family. So that was the 2020 edition. We expanded somewhat for the last edition, 2021, where we had it running basically every night, basically over a 2-week period. And also we would have had movie nights as well. We set up a Santa's Grotto as well. So it was a very successful event. We were actually able to realize a surplus of over $53,000, which we were very happy to have in the midst of a pandemic. So yes, it was very well. And it just showed that we have to be adaptable and innovative despite COVID, just to keep Rotary at the forefront of everybody. So that's what we did. Thank you.
Thanks
Nice.
for sharing.
Thank you.
Some comments in the chat. Giselle said that they would have had a chef demonstrating. Giselle, you did not invite me. I'll find you the next time I go to your meeting. Lafrida is saying, as the person, he did a survey during the year as president, but no real direction has been given how to improve the meetings, although members are asking for change. I'm not certain, PGD, would you want to address that? Lafrida said that he did a survey, or I'm not certain if it's a male or female, pardon me on that. Yeah, during the year as the president, while serving as president, but there was no change as yet in terms of the activities. Not certain.
Okay. Well, you can propose something and you can propose change, but if members don't take ownership of those proposals, nothing will happen, right? I can shout something in the room and I don't take action, I don't take ownership of what I'm proposing, nothing will change. So it all depends on the chemistry in the club. How are you involving or engaging those members to be part and to be responsible to carry some of those changes? It is very important to do that. Then again, from a distance, it's very difficult to judge on that. But change will only happen if you look at the mirror and you look at the person in the mirror and say, I'm going to make a change today, and take ownership for that.
Great, thanks. I'm sure a lot of that will be addressed in when we are discussing the topic of membership and engaging members and taking membership to the next level. Tanya is saying to increase engagement, they invite members to introduce and thank guest speakers. Yeah, that's a great way of involving your members and keeping them interested, making them feel special as well. So there's a focus on them and they'll be interested and keen on attending another meeting.
So I don't think this is part of the pets, but I just want to pop up this question. And for those of you, you can write it down and think about it. In your meeting, do you allow or do you give the members the opportunity to have a vocational talk about themselves and what they do? Short and sweet, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. If not, just think about it. Just think about it. But then again, that's for development. So, Liz, are we at the end of the?
Yeah, I think that's quite a few questions are coming up, but I think that will be addressed in other sessions as well. So if you have Elvin's contact, yeah, you have Elvin's contact, so please make contact with him. I know we can't answer all of your questions, and a lot of the questions probably need more lengthy discussions as well. So please make contact with PDG Elvin. We have our incoming district governor as well, and I'm sure he's open to even answering questions before he actually gets into the hot seat. So thank you all for participating.
I just want to add one thing to it. When you participate in any meeting, whatever meeting, it's a community meeting or a club meeting or a holiday meeting, candlelight meeting, just to make sure, Rotary doesn't require attendance list anymore, and we don't keep track of attendance, but it's nice for the club's records who was participating in the club projects or in the club meetings, okay? And I want to conclude with this. We have heard all about what type of positions and what persons are you bringing in and what are you doing, or are you allowing politicians? Listen, in daily life, you have different hats, different positions, right? Make sure whatever you do, whichever hat you're wearing, make sure that the Rotary principles are always prevailing and are top. Remember the 4-way test. You've been inducted by the 4-way test. So whenever you're a politician or a Rotarian in daily life, your Rotary hat still stays the same, even in meetings and your club meetings. I wish you all well. Lots of success for the new year. Thank you all.
You're most welcome, and thank you for that extremely engaging presentation. And I'd like to ask our district committee member, Joel, to move the vote of thanks, and he'll be doing it in French, and we heard translation by our translators. Joel?
Bonjour à tous. Donc, tout d'abord, le comité souhaite remercier l'ensemble des participants, présidents, secrétaires élects, d'avoir été présents aujourd'hui, donc pendant ces présentations. On sait que c'est un peu long, mais c'est nécessaire de participer à ces formations. On souhaite remercier le district gouverneur Sonia d'avoir voulu être présente et d'avoir ouvert la réunion avant de prendre son vol. Bien sûr, le PAD district gouverneur Lyle pour sa très belle présentation de notre PDG Elwin et aussi donc sa présence. PDG Elwin, je pense que les différents mots sur la présentation et la formation que tu as donnée sont éloquents. Donc, merci de cette belle présentation, de nous avoir fait partager cette belle expérience du Rotary, cette conduite des réunions et ce développement des clubs. Alors, je ne veux pas oublier nos amis Antouza, Séverine, Cindy d'avoir participé à l'Ice Breaking. Bien sûr, alors il faut aussi remercier tous ces Rotariens que nous ne voyons pas, que nous n'entendons pas forcément, mais sans qui la réunion ne pourrait pas avoir lieu. Et je veux penser à Sean qui agit en coulisses pour que la réunion se passe bien et faire que même lorsqu'on ne peut pas faire une présentation, on ne peut pas partager l'écran, ben, comme c'est arrivé, eh ben, il trouve la solution. Donc vraiment, merci Sean. À nos interprètes, ben, sans qui une partie du district ne pourrait pas vraiment prendre part aux sessions. Donc je veux parler de Vicky, de Nathalie, de Mavis. Donc forcément, à l'ensemble de l'équipe, le comité de formation du district, l'ensemble des membres, et sans oublier, avec un petit clin d'œil particulier pour Lise, qui est aujourd'hui le modérateur, mais qui conduit cette équipe avec vraiment efficacité, volonté et engagement rotarien. Donc, bravo et merci Lise. Et bien sûr, eh ben, avant de lui laisser la parole, je ne peux que remercier notre DGE, notre district gouverneur élect, Leslie, ben, pour sa présence, mais aussi pour avoir participé avec nous en ce jour qui est son jour anniversaire. Donc, une nouvelle fois, Leslie, bon anniversaire. Et donc, il y a le sondage qui vous est présenté. Eh ben, on vous demande de bien vouloir le remplir afin que l'on puisse eh ben, savoir pour les prochaines sessions ce qui vous a plu, ce qui a convenu et ce qui convient d'améliorer. Voilà. Lise.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you. Now I'd like to hand over to our very dynamic incoming district governor-elect, Leslie Ramdani, who will wrap up the session and close out today's sessions. Over to you, Leslie.
Thank you, Liz. And Joel, I too would like to add my thanks to my good friend PDG Elwin. Fantastic presentation. You engaged everyone, and it could have continued. It could have continued. It tells you how many, our concerns and the interest that we have in our district, and a really great guide to our presidents on the way they conduct their meetings. So this has been a very informative and it's a learning process for all of our presidents. And I hope that everyone would have certainly taken note of all your recommendations, really. It's really informative. Just want to say that this certainly is a really good morning, full discussion, information, and guidance. Folks, I think we're trying to keep on time. We're not out of time yet. So we will move on to the other session now. So Elwin, thanks so much for being here. To all our presents for your keen and Secretary-elect for your keen and interesting listening attention. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On that note, I can say thank you. We're finished before time. I think, yes, as I said, we did have a very engaging morning and PDG Allen, I'm sure, did not disappoint. Well, he certainly didn't disappoint me. I expected, all of what. I know he's a very engaging speaker. That is why we asked him to lead this session. And that was important that he was able to engage quite a few of you. And I'm sure share information that you can actually use. So please, and do capitalize on the fact that we can communicate with him. If there's any help that you need, any guidance that you need, I'm sure Elvin will be ready, willing, and happy to extend that help. So have a good weekend, you all. Please remember, complete, if you haven't done so as yet, do complete the poll before you exit the room. We're trying to capture any new ideas, certainly to improve our PET sessions as we go forward, not necessarily just for this year, but certainly for all PET sessions going forward. So thank you again and enjoy the rest of the weekend.